you're a parent of a child on the spectrum, you'd agree with me that cutting nails is not one of the easiest things to do. And it's not also something that you can ignore. You can ignore the toenails, and I remember for me, there are days that I would go for more than a month really without cutting the toenails. But you cannot do the same for the fingernails. Now, in that process of pulling and pushing, one day I remember I did cut my son's toe. And I remember he just, woke up, took the nail cutter, threw it, and ran. And it was so frustrating. I had to go back, read more, and whatever I'm going to show you today is what I had to teach my nanny so that she was able to cut my nails, because my son did not trust me with his toes and fingers again. And even up to today, if I want to cut his nails, he's okay with giving him his fingernails to cut, but with his toes, it's a no. Luckily these days he's old enough and he can cut both his fingers and toes, but trust me, it's not a walk in the park. So how do we do this? If you're new here, my name is Nema Lema. Thank you so much for being here, and please, if you like this, go ahead and subscribe, comment, and like our content. And yeah, let's do this. So we do know that nail cutting is really just the cutting of nails, and it involves a lot of sensations. If your brain is typical, it's not a big deal. But if your brain is not typical, that means sometimes you process your senses differently. Number one, there's a lot of touching because you have to hold the finger. You have to, put your clipper or put your clipper or your nail cutter on the nail and cut. You see, there's a lot of pressure. Now, for a child who's processing their senses differently, that's a lot to tolerate. But the reason why they don't like that process is because of all these sensations that come because of that simple process of nail cutting. And sometimes they just wonder, why do I need to cut my nails anyway? Yeah. And for a child who you can sit down and explain because of 1, 2, 3, then that makes it easier. But for a child who is even not able to sit and you are able to explain why they have to cut their nails, it becomes such a huge challenge. So how do we do this? The first thing is have routines. We do know that our children do thrive in routines. So make sure that your child has daily established routines. They know today is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and come back to Monday again. So on each of these days, they know clearly this is what we do. From this we go to this, from this we go to this, from this we go to this. Okay, you really need to have that so that when you're fixing your nail cutting, it has to be part of a routine. Please keep that in mind. And you see, if you're able to establish these routines earlier, it will not really be a bigger challenge as compared to you just randomly decide, oh, there's a nail cutter here, come and cut your nails. It can't work that way. Okay, so make sure you have established routines, and the nail cutting process has to be fixed in that bigger routine of your child. Then the second thing is you need to prepare your child that they are able to know, they know, okay, tomorrow we are going to do nail cutting. So today we go through the visual schedule of what happens in nail cutting. If you're able to get these two short clips of the process of nail cutting, it will also help so that he's able to anticipate, he's able to know exact what he should expect in this process of nail cutting. But I usually find visual scheduling better so that it's systematic. Number one, it's a nail cutter. Number two, you put your finger, we put it here, then we cut it. And then usually we advocate that in every successful nail cut, you have to have some form of a reward. And rewards could be something as simple as a sticker, It doesn't have to be, these big things, but, try to just make your child make your child see that you're actually appreciating them by them being able to tolerate that process of nail cutting. Then the third thing is let your child be okay with having a clipper around them. Okay, so let this clipper not be a foreign thing to your child. So make sure your child can touch the clippers, plays with the clipper, of course in a safe way. Put the clipper around so that they don't find it and find like, oh, what is this? And then all of a sudden now you are trying to cut their nails. That won't work with these children. Okay, and if possible, If you have other kids in the house, let's use this other child see you cutting their nails and them being okay with it. Okay, if possible, if you don't have other children, cut your own nails or cut another, even your partner's nails, and let them see that it's actually not a bad thing to cut your nails, because the whole idea is for them to be okay, to be comfortable. You're really developing that, them being able to tolerate this whole process. Now, one of the other tips that I learned, though I learned it a bit late, was the fact that you don't always have to use the nail cutter or the nail clipper. You can actually file. Now, if your child is okay with touch and filing has less pressure as compared to nail cutting. So you may want to try that if you're struggling with your child in that process of nail cutting. Once you've done this, now on the day of nail cutting, what you need to remember is when nails are wet, and the whole idea is just to make the nails wet. Usually wet nails are softer and easier to cut as compared to these hard nails. Okay, and then also when you're soaking, make sure you do it with warm water. You see that's a sensation, so you're trying to dampen these other sensations. And then when you're also soaking, try to see if you could use a very soft brush to brush on top of the nails. Okay, the whole idea is just to dampen the sensation of that process, the nail cutting itself. Okay, so once you've done this, so you may want to soak, but I know that will be a challenge as well. So what I did is we do this process of nail cutting after bathing. Okay, so once they're bathed, when you're with them in the shower and you're bathing and you want to nail cut their nails, use like a short brush and then just keep on brushing their fingers, sometimes even their hands. Of course, it could be a bit ticklish, but try to be as gentle as you can. Sometimes you may want them to use all these soft balls to just touch. The whole idea is to dampen the sensations on the hands. Okay, and then after that, now they're out of the shower or out of the water, try to massage while you're applying oil on their hands. Try to massage, and usually you start from this side, massaging going upwards, and you massage the hand, the palm, and then you also go ahead and massage each finger. When you're massaging, use a very soft oil. You can use coconut oil or olive oil or any other oil really, or even whatever this child applies on their skin. The whole idea is just to try to reduce like you are just trying to activate this hand so that they don't feel that touch sensation to be very, very sensitive for them. Okay, then once you've done that, give your child a distraction. This could be a toy they love, a cartoon they like, anything that you can think of that you may think will distract your child. That's what you need to do. And then of course, hold your hand. When you hold your child's hand, don't let it too soft. Like when somebody has hold you and they're applying deep pressure, and then when someone is holding you and applying very light touch, usually it's the light touch that tends to be a bit more sensitive. So when you're doing pressure, it is easier and better for your child. So when you're holding your child's hand, okay, not a lot of pressure, but significant pressure. Don't hold it lightly, just hold it firmly, not to a point where they're feeling pain. No, just firmly enough but not painful, and then keep on cutting one nail after another. When you're doing this, you can be counting. When you're doing this, you could be singing. And the key thing is reward. So after, you can put like one sticker in every finger. Now depending on the age and depending on how much you have to struggle, you can try one sticker for every finger or one sticker for one hand, or really this purely depends on you and your child. And sometimes you may do all this and it's still a struggle. It's okay. If you're able to just cut one or two nails and that process comes to an end, that's okay. Tomorrow you do it again. If you're able to cut one hand and then they'll say no, okay, just do one hand and do the next hand the following day. It is still okay. Don't be too hard on your child. Don't be too hard on yourself. The whole idea is the nails have to be cut short. Now for me, this is also one of the mistakes I used to do. Now because I was like, what, I don't want these nails to grow right now, so I will cut in a place that is very close to the flesh of the finger. And sometimes that could be even more sensitive. Yeah, so my son was like, no, I do not want. So I learned that yes, we don't like the process, but don't cut too low. So cut, like, just leave a small, like maybe 1 millimeter from the nail bed, so that even though you're cutting, the nail cutter doesn't have to go deep into the nail. That really helps. But of course, it's a lesson I learned a bit later, because I was like, you know what, I don't want to do this, so I need to cut these nails as short as possible. Yeah, so yeah, so I really hope that helps someone, and yeah, I wish you all the best in that process. I think I'll do another one on barbing, because yeah, that's also another thing. Other than that, thank you so much, and remember to please subscribe, share, and watch our other videos.